Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another program or another episode of Perspective right here on Hilaal TV. My name is Julie Ali, and it gives me great pleasure to be presenting Perspective week after week after week. And why is that? Simply because my life is touched in such a special way by the amazing guests that I feature on this show. Once again, we have amazing guests on the show this morning. We have 3 young people who have come in to join us and to share their stories with us through their principal, and she is Rahima Ismail, the principal of the Little People's Learning Academy. She's a very special lady. She has to be, for having made space in her heart for children with special needs. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of determination, it takes a lot of hard work, but more importantly, you need to have a heart of gold, a big heart to allow these little people into your life and work with them to make a meaningful difference, not only in their lives, but in their extended families as well. So let's get talking to this amazing lady and the 3 guests that she's brought along in studio today. Rahima Ismail, as I've indicated, is the principal. We also have 3 young people, Anisa, Zainab and Rayan. But we will talk with them a little later on. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Welcome to the show, and assalamu alaikum to the 3 of you as well.
Salam.
Very well, thank you. It's wonderful to have you here, Iman, Zainab and Rayan. Are you guys excited to be here with me today?
Yes.
Lovely. We're going to talk about your school, what you like, and why you are excited to go to school every day. But let's start with you, Rahima. You own the school, and way back in the day when you started the school, I do see, and I'd like to make special mention of it, is that you qualified as an early childhood developmental psychologist, and psychotherapy is part of your studies. Did you know at that point in time that you're going to be accommodating children with special needs?
Absolutely not. When you go into studying, you're going to studying with mainstream. I'm going to teach children. And then Iman fell into my lap. That's where special needs, I was first introduced to it. Mind you, myself and Iman's mom Fiona were at school together, and then we left school, went our separate ways, and this brought us back together, this little girl.
That was a very special story. Just share it. You've shared it with me a while ago, but let's share it with our listeners.
When Iman came into the school that I was working in at that time, which is EduClinic Learning Center, and the principal, Shana, said to me, you need to work with her. I was afraid. I didn't want to have anything to do with her. She was new to me. This was foreign. I didn't want to do this. And she said, no, you will do this. And the best thing I could have done was this, because this bond has grown. It's made me a better person. It's made me a better human. It's made me see the beauty of special needs.
Now, you studied developmental psychology and psychotherapy. When you were given this task, didn't you feel that your studies are going to hold you in good stead to run with special needs children?
It absolutely did. When I was studying, I thought, I'm not going to ever use this. Why am I doing it? And then it fell into my lap. And somebody once asked me, why did you go further? Why are you doing the psychotherapy? I said, because I'm living it. I do it every day. And it's so good when you go through your books and you realize, okay, wait, I am doing this. I am applying this. I need to change this. And then you apply what you've actually learned or studied and in a life world of someone to make a difference, you know. But like I said, initially it was, I'm just going to deal with normal children. Why do I need this? And this is why I needed this. This is why I needed that.
Part of Allah's greater plan for you and for the community, these beautiful children that we see sitting here in front of us. But tell us a little more about your school. I asked you off air what's the makeup of the school. Would you like to share it with our viewers, please?
Absolutely. So it is a mainstream school that is, let's call it, for normal children from grade R to grade 7, right? And then we have a special class for special needs children, and they are a variety from cerebral palsy, Smith-Magenis syndrome, autism, they are literally my fruit basket, right? So where learning takes place separately and the kids follow curriculum, everything else is done inclusively. So the physical education, the PE, the annual concert that we have, we do it inclusively. My school has one rule for a new applying parent. If you do not want your child to play, mix, or be with my special needs children, I do not take your application. Some of them are in awe because they know that their child learns empathy from these type of children. Others are in shock, like, you're turning a child away. No, I'm not turning a child away. I'm turning a parent away. A parent who doesn't see that these are also just children. And I stick by that rule no matter what. I have parents come in who say to me, I don't mind putting my child here, but will she interact with the special needs children? I will stop them right there and say, this is not the place for you.
And I will put that question to you once again regarding the interaction with your special needs learners. How do you encourage it? Because sadly, very sad to say, we all have our different biases. And some people, maybe because they have a superiority, a complex, or maybe they're afraid, maybe they don't know how, or children in their innocence may also look upon a child with special needs and think, if I interact with her, I will become like her. And that's a very misguided understanding of the situation. However it does happen, people have that thinking. How do you try and fix that narrative? And what do you say to these amazing people sitting here with us? Because I think they pick up on people's energy,
yes,
the way people respond to them. And I think they do pick up on rejection as well.
So what I do is, the minute the school year starts, these kids get introduced separately so that the new learners and current learners remember, look, they are just children, right? And I give them a breakdown of each child's condition, and I tell them the do's and don'ts when it comes to them. But at the same time, I do the same with them and tell them, so these are the grade ones, and this is what they can do, and this is what you're going to be doing with them, right? You find amongst children, they hold back because they are scared. But once you tell them, I will personally take Iman to each class and introduce them. I will take the children to Zainab and I'll tell them, if you want to ask Zainab, you need to ask her so she can type an answer out for you. That is how I get them to mingle with each other. And I promise you, within a day, Iman's got 10 different kids fighting to push her around the class, you know. Or can I help Rehan? And teachers.
Okay.
And, you know, can I help with something? Can I do something? So they show more, you know what, I need to help this person. Sometimes it becomes a problem where they overhelp, where I know Rayan can do A to Z on his own, but everybody feels like, you know what, let me help him do this. So you have to stop it a bit and say, okay, you need to give him a chance, or let him try as well. But within the first few days of school, it's one big happy family.
So, Rahima, how many children do you have with special needs in your school? And I assume they are all housed in one classroom, but integration does happen throughout the school day.
Okay, so it's not a separated class, because Zainab sits with my current grade 7s and 8s, and she works with them, and the teaching gets done with them, so she's in the class. I have a little boy by the name of Hamza who sits in the grade 3 class. Hamza's non-verbal, but academically he's sound. Rayan there sits in the grade 4 class, right? It's more the children in the wheelchairs, because of the bulkiness of that wheelchairs, that either sit in an outside space or in a bigger classroom, so that the teacher has that one-on-one and they're comfortable and it's not crowded. Right, but children like Rayan, Zainab, and Hamza, there's one or two others, sit within the class and learn. Right, it's more just Hamza also has a problem with walking, so we need to have him sit closer to the door, so it's easier for him to go in and out of class. And then with the wheelchairs, we have a class that's got a wider door space for them to move around, and the space is bigger as well.
So how many kids do you have? Special needs kids in your school? Special
needs kids, there's about 14 of them.
Okay. To go back to your story with Iman, you were very hesitant initially. The bond started growing. How did the school then grow? How did word get out that if you go to Little People's Academy, Learning Center rather, there is an opportunity if you have a child who has special needs. They do cater for them, and it is the place to be at.
So initially word of mouth. a lot of that credit goes to Iman's mom and dad, Fiona and Aslam, because they were in this world of special needs children. They started telling other parents, listen, we've put our child here, bring your child forward, put your child there. And they even went to the point of, if a parent wanted to find out about the school, they would come with me and show the parent, this is why I'm happy, this is what we've seen in Iman, this is the growth we've experienced. And then after that, Fiona had a dream. Her dream was to have, nobody ever includes special needs children when you're having fun walks and fun runs.
I have a brother.
And she has a brother.
And how old is your brother?
9.
He's
9, he can't be 9. I think he's 14.
14. He's 14, yeah.
okay. And which school does he go
He
to?
goes to PMT.
PMT,
Okay.
Victoria Muslim Trust.
All
School.
right.
And what was I saying?
About
Yeah, so Fiona had this
Integrate,
dream, and then I went behind her back, and I spoke to other people, and I told them, I want to pull this off. And one day I walked into a house, and I gave her a pamphlet, and it said that we're going to be having our first ever fun walk for special needs children. And the community got involved. People outside the community got involved, and from there it just grew. And for the last 9 years, we've been hosting this. Last year, it was a major, major event because our local ward councillor, Mr. Naeem Patel, got involved, and he promoted this thing here. And it's called the Iman Abdul Rahman Awareness Walk.
okay.
Right? The community comes out in droves.
Alhamdulillah.
The 1 year, we actually invited all the old age homes to participate, and there were like over 100 wheelchairs in this. And they become aware, it's like, okay, you know what? We need to include them more. You know, we need to be a part of them. We need to make them a part of us as well.
Alhamdulillah, I think it's an amazing initiative. You really and truly should be proud of what you have pulled off with the Little People's Learning Academy. We're going to be talking lots more. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Iman, Zainab and you, Rayan, about your dreams, your hopes and what it is that you like or don't like about the school, but right after the ad break. The amazing people from Little People's Learning Academy, they're based in Tshwane, and of course the school is being run by Rahima Ismail. Lots more to come right on this show. Please do stay with us. And my amazing guests, Principal Rahima Ismail and the 3 lovely learners in studio with us. And that, of course, is Iman, Zainab and Rayan. We're going to talk to them in the course of the show, but let's continue our discussion with the principal of Little People's Learning Academy. I'm trying to and get my head around just how challenging it might be for you to adapt to the different children's personalities, learning styles, limitations as well. And how does it then perhaps impact on the other children? You have indicated that you've split a few of the more able learners into the mainstream classes, but in the special needs class, do you have situations of disruption and situations where you're having to repeat the lesson over and over again because of their different needs?
Okay, so in that special need class, you don't have a sitting teacher, you don't have a standing teacher, you have a moving teacher. So you literally move from each child, because you could be doing the same activity, but you have an auditory learner, a visual learner, a kinesthetic learner. So each is doing the same activity, but in a different form. So in identifying what instruction they would work well with them, you adapt your lesson to that. So you have to move. You start off with the one, move to the next, and you're constantly moving amongst them, right? You'll get a child that you have an outburst, but it's usually because they're frustrated. They cannot tell you what is worrying them, what they cannot do, or what's on their mind, so they have an outburst. I allow the outburst. But what I do is, if it's a child that doesn't mind being touched, you'd hold them tight. If it's a child that needs a break, you take a walk with them outside and then you come back. The activity eventually gets done, but you need to incorporate into your lesson breakdown time as well, right? And because each child works differently, you have your visual learner who's busy with his chart or whatever he's doing here, your auditory learner listening to something there. You can give this child that attention, or you excuse yourself. You say to them, you don't just walk away. You say, listen guys, Tasmia needs a break. I'm going to be back in 5 minutes. And everybody just sits back and waits. You give Tasmiyah a break, you come back, and she says, she announces, I'm here. She'll sit down, and then you continue as you go. You don't use your normal standardized teaching methods. It doesn't work in a special needs class.
It sounds exhausting. And of course, it sounds like you need a lot of patience as well.
Yes.
But having said that, then, are there issues around your regular learners who feel that special need learners are getting that much more attention and kind of expect more out of you or the school? And what about the other teachers? Not all of them have the same background as you have in psychotherapy and psychology. How do you prep them to deal with this? Because it's demanding. And it can be exhausting.
Amazingly enough, I have been blessed with a group of ladies that come with that motherly instinct and they know how to apply it. So for instance, Rayan being in the grade 4 class, because he writes a little slower, she writes the board full. And then the other kids, they just writing their notes. Rayan gets a bit of a leeway because we place the top section, you just write the bottom. So you adapt his lesson. So you include him in the discussion, you including him in the activity, but when it comes to certain things where he's a bit slower, you adapt it to suit him. So it doesn't affect the other kids. And then you work with this child while the others are doing their writing or their activity or whatever it is. But they do the same thing. They literally move from child to child, even with the mainstream children. You treat them that way, that you know what, you also have my attention. We're blessed that we have small classrooms. We do not take more than 10 learners per grade.
Wow.
You see, so having that there, it allows us to move from child to child. I have one of my foundation phase teacher who's Appa Nuri. That woman, I always tell her, I said it to her yesterday, when a child walks out of your class, they come out reading. The patience she has, but she's loud.
She's loud.
She's loud. Does she frighten you when she talks so loudly?
Yes.
What do you say to her, Iman?
Nothing.
Don't
you tell her not to be so loud, to talk softly?
She and Appa Nuri fight because Appa Nuri always wants to steal her shoes.
Like now.
Like now.
All right. Okay, but she's not here, so you don't have to worry. Let's talk to you, Rayan. Assalamu alaikum, welcome. How do you feel being on the show today?
Very good.
Yes.
And very excited.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Now, Rahima has just been telling us that you write a little slower because of your condition. So what is your condition?
It's called, there's something called scoliosis. I have like a curved spine, which makes my legs short. And the thing is, I don't walk normal, and I cannot run that fast.
So how do you feel about it? That you can't walk normally and you can't run too fast? Do you feel that the other kids are leaving you behind?
Yeah, but then after a while I do manage to catch up.
Okay. You have such a beautiful personality, mashallah. You're such a beautiful child. So I do know that you're going to be surrounded by lots and lots and lots of friends in your life. What do you want to become when you're done with school?
I want to become a mechanic.
Right.
And work with cars.
Do you like cars?
Yes.
Fast cars. Fast and furious. Oh my word. What do you think about your school?
It's very nice. And I can now learn everything. But then the one thing is, I don't like loud noise, because that interrupts everything.
But how can't you like loud noise when you like fast cars? Because fast cars are very noisy.
Well, the thing is, if it's too much, then if it's at school and there's too much noise, I don't know how to deal with that. But then when I have the fast cars, I think there's a thing where they make the cars silent.
Okay. What do you like about your school, and what is your favorite subject at school?
So what I like about the school, I can learn, I can have a break, also have lunch, and then my favorite subject is math and English.
Okay, I can see that, or rather I can hear that English is your favorite subject because you're very articulate, you speak beautifully. I do hope you're going to enjoy all your years being at the school. Rahima, very articulate, great command of the language. Is that part of what you do at school, or is, I should imagine a lot of what our children are expressing here today is because, number one, their own unique personalities, but the input from the parents.
Absolutely.
I mean, you and your team are doing an excellent job, but I think the input from the parents is also important.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say to you. His mom, that is his mom. That comes from her. The language, the way to speak, the respect, how he carries himself, and she instills constantly, you know, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that, you know. So that a lot of Rehan's way of communication and his habits, his personality comes from his mom.
Subhanallah, that's wonderful. You also want to pay a special tribute to Iman's parents. Tell us why it is special for you to mention it here and now.
They're always in the background, but no matter what I do, they support me. Today, they are both here.
Today, they want to have a fun walk.
They also want to have a fun walk.
Okay.
And even when Iman, there was a little while that Iman wasn't at school, but no matter what I did, no matter where I went, Fiona and Iman, Fiona and Aslam supported me through everything. And right till now, if I'm having a bad day at school, that's my go-to. If I need the most neutral person amongst my team, I go to Fiona's husband, Aslam. And that man is straight. And he'll tell me yes or no. He won't sugarcoat it, nothing. The fact that they entrust me with their child all the time, that is an honor that I can never repay.
You're like a mother to me.
I'm like a mother to her.
Oh, wonderful. That's special. I understood what she said, by the way, Rahima. That was quite clear from her side. Do you use special equipment, tools, technology to assist you, apart from your regular learners, but very especially with kids with special learning? And I'm smiling because I'm looking at you, Zainab, and I see you have a very special contraption on your lap. Please tell us, what is that? But before you go there, I think let's go to that question after the ad break. I see it's time for me to go for a break, but when we come back, you're going to respond to me. Okay? All right, we do need to move along. It's time for our next break, but when we do come back, we're going to be talking with Zainab. Like I've indicated, she's got a tablet on her lap, and that's her means of communication. Rahima is going to explain to us as well, and so is Zainab. So do stay with us. Rahima Ismail, the principal of the Little People's Learning Academy, is in studio today with a few of her learners, and it sure is a learning session for me indeed. And I hope it's a learning session for all of you out there, because if we in a house or an environment where there are able-bodied or normal people all around us, and we don't ever cross paths with someone who has a different ability, we take our lives for granted. And we never ever stop to consider what a person with a special needs life might look like, or the challenges they face. And here is Rahima Ismail giving us a peek into their world and making us realize just how blessed we are not to have any such challenges. But that doesn't mean we need to overlook their challenges. Let us empower ourselves. Let's learn more about different abled people and children, and let's put out our hands to make their lives a little easier. I asked the question before the ad break, what sort of resources, equipment, technology is being used by some of the learners at the academy, and we have one such learner in studio with us. Her name is Zainab, and she's going to show us how she communicates in her everyday life. Zainab, welcome. Are you pleased to be here today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you communicate like this all the time?
Yes.
When you get confused, if somebody asks you something and you don't understand, what do you say to them? Rahima, would you like to come in here?
She'll type in and say,
Okay.
I don't understand. What must I do? I'm not sure.
All
She'll
right.
type it out.
Okay. Clearly, we have to exercise a little more patience with Rahima because, with Zainab, because she needs to digest what you've communicated, and then she needs to go to her tablet and respond accordingly. Obviously, she then takes a little longer, and you or the teacher interacting with her has to exercise patience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
But even when it comes to exams, Zainab's exams are standardized exams that she does, but it takes her way longer. A 2-hour paper she'll do in 4 hours, but she completes it. That's the thing with her is whatever she starts, she will complete. She will fight me on it. I'll tell her, leave this question out, do this out. She will fight. She will go home. Her dad will call me. Zainab was very upset. Okay, send it to school tomorrow, let's finish it. So even though it takes her longer to do everything, no matter what happens, she will complete it.
Zainab, what do you want to become when you finish school? What would you like to do?
An artist.
Oh, wow. Do you draw? Do you like drawing a lot?
Yes.
Wow. So, Rahima, I assume you have lots of Zainab's art displayed at your school.
Yeah, I don't have a choice. Every time she paints something, she brings it. I was really taken aback. We were invited to participate at an event for the children of Gaza, and one of the artwork that she handed it was the painting of the school. But she painted it exactly the way it is, the building with the trees where my car is parked. It was the most beautiful thing ever. And then she does this thing for the teachers at school where she asks you, what's your favorite color, who's in your family, and what's their colors? And she would block it. So if your favorite color is blue, she would paint a blue block and then put your name over it. She's quite into the art. Her dad's trying to get us off it, so when he's not around, we do art.
Does she do it on her tablet or
No.
freehand?
Freehand. Finger, paint brushes. She has grip. She does have grip. She just doesn't have pen or pencil grip, and the writing is very difficult for her. But when it comes to maneuvering paint brushes, sponges, those type of things, she uses free.
Where did Zainab inculcate this love of art?
She just sent me naturally. She just sent me a picture she did of the Kaaba, and she said, "I did this." And I still said to her, "I said you lie." She said, "I did it. Ask my helper."
Mashallah.
And from there, it just continued.
Okay, so she's got a bright future ahead of her. So we have a mechanic in the making, we have an artist in the making. Alhamdulillah, do you have any other children in your school that works off a tablet?
So we're trying, she has a little sister by the name of Zahra who's in the school. Her dad's trying to get her to do that. The rest of the kids are mostly pen to paper or building blocks. So we have number blocks, we have word blocks, we have shape blocks, alpha blocks, and they use that to communicate if need be. But at the moment, most of them are on just your normal pen to paper. However, Mr. Ahmed Mohammed from Emzo World has stepped in, and he wants to put up an entire computer center so that and load programs on there so that these children can have access to that. At the end of the day, how the normal children are moving with technology, they should be having that opportunity as well. And this is what he wants to do for the school. And inshallah, if everything works out fine, most of these kids will be able to do that.
My mummy made it possible.
Her mommy made it
Oh,
possible.
that's wonderful. You must love her very much because they support you so much, isn't it?
Except on the days when she's fighting with them.
Okay. Except when you're having a tantrum.
Auntie,
Hey. Do you find other children in the school, Rahima, are wanting to perhaps mistake her tablet for a toy and want to try and get it and also start working on it?
So with the younger kids, I take them to Zainab and I tell them, this is Zainab's. You are not allowed to touch it. You are not allowed to put your hand on it. And they don't. It's when you tell them, when you scream at a child, they're like, oh, you're just screaming again. But when you tell them and explain nicely why you can't do this, why you can't, they understand. But no one so far has ever tried to take her things. Or even with Zahra's, no one's tried to, but they'll go and stand there to see what it is she's doing. The curiosity builds up. And like the little girl by Michelle Azan, if she sees Zahra's maybe struggling to do something, she'll just push in and then help her, you know, because she feels she needs the help.
Children in their innocence are very honest, but they can also be very cruel without realizing they're hurting their peers or their class friend or even siblings for that matter. How do you deal with it, and how much of the stuff that they do in school, you know, when they become mean towards differently able children? We know bullying happens even in regular classes, but I think that children with special needs could be soft targets.
Yes.
How do you address that, and how do you empower children with special needs to be able to say no or try and defend themselves in whatever way they know best?
So what I would do is soften the blow. I'll tell Zainab, drive away. That's what I would say to her. And then she'd laugh. Then I would bring their child out and say, okay, you said this or you did this. How would you feel if it's done to you? And how would you react? Do you think Zainab likes it? Do you think Iman likes it? And, you know, they'll be like, no. Would you like it? No. And they understand from there. But shukr alhamdulillah, I've never had to deal with that. I've never had to deal with a bullying situation between special needs and mainstream children. I think it's because I constantly reinforce that they are your friends, you treat them as your friends. You treat them the way you want to be treated. So I think reinforcing that consistently has avoided that, where we haven't had to deal with the situation of bullying.
How do you deal with bullying? How do you... You've explained that very beautifully, but once you've addressed the situation with the child or the children concerned, do you escalate it to the parents so that they also reinforce the same message that you've put out there?
So if it happens once and it doesn't happen again, there's no need for reinforcement. But if the minute it happens a second time, I immediately bring a parent in and I let them know, okay, this is what I'm doing at school, this is how I'm dealing with it. I'd appreciate it if you can come from your side. I had an incident yesterday with a parent who, but this wasn't a special needs kid, and she came to school and she said, no, we fixed this year. So this is what happened, let's fix this together, because this is where it happened and this is where we're going to fix it. But then the mom takes steps to rectify whatever's been done at home. And it's very, very important to have that open communication with the parents, right? Some of them, their expectations are quite high and I need to bring it down, and some of them their expectations are quite low and then I need to bring it up. But it's the same with me, where I will insist Iman can do something and Fiona will show me the reality of it, or I will insist Zainab can't do, like, to be honest with the art thing now, her father actually tries to phase it out. Zainab and I do our own thing.
And obviously that's a gift.
I'm in the brigade.
She's in the brigade.
Oh, okay, I'm going
Show
to come.
them the picture.
Okay, you need to look forward and wait.
I'm going to talk to you in a minute. I just want to talk to Zainab. And when you're passionate about your art, and you can also come in here, Rahima. Allah has blessed her with something really very special. You know, Allah doesn't give us everything in life. And have you ever explained to her that this is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and she needs to continue nurturing it?
Oh, she knows it.
She knows it.
Because she said to me, so are we going to do art? I said, your father said phase it out, but you know me, I don't listen to him. Let's do what we need to do.
Oh, I hope he's not watching this
No,
interview.
He's going to watch it. We're not afraid of him. Are we afraid of him? No. Her father is also very understanding. I think with him his concern is he doesn't want her to do it as a subject, and at a later stage it becomes too difficult for her and she mustn't struggle with it. But we adapt things according. So even though she's doing tourism at the moment and he wanted us to take the art away, I didn't entirely take it away. She can do it once a week, because why not?
She's responding to us now. Let's listen to her response. And then I want to talk to you about challenges that you and your staff probably do encounter. listen, it is a challenging situation. We can't kid ourselves. You speak about your children, your special needs children, and your other children with much love and empathy, and I admire you for that. But undoubtedly, there are a lot of challenges. We have
My daddy does not believe I can.
But you're going to prove him wrong, right? You're going to prove him wrong. Time for our next ad break and our final segment on the show this morning. I'm fascinated and humbled at the same time, alhamdulillah. Allah brings people together for a reason. Sometimes, you know, you have situations in your own life and you kind of say, why me? And then you're exposed to these amazing people who don't ask those questions. They embrace it with all of their heart. Alhamdulillah. Welcome back to the final segment of the show. 10 minutes or more in the company of amazing human beings. It's been quite a learning experience for me, and I sincerely hope that you too have been touched by these amazing human beings. We're going to wrap up now by talking about challenges, but not before we talk to Iman. She is really wanting to tell us about everything that she's happy about at the school and her favorite interests at school. Iman, lovely to have you here. Are you excited to be here?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous.
Rahima Ismail, your principal's telling me that you didn't sleep last night. They had to phone her to tell you to come over.
I phoned you to come over.
You're not nervous any longer, are you?
I am that word.
No, you shouldn't be. You're talking beautifully. Rahima, you said you had a very special moment yesterday when you announced in assembly. Tell me all about that, please.
So when we announced in assembly that we're going, and I mentioned who I'm taking with, the entire school wanted to come with. They all wanted to be here and be a part of it. More than the parent support, the support my special needs kids get from the school itself, that is priceless. That is priceless.
What about your mommy?
My mom is supporting.
Her mommy's supporting
Yes,
her.
I know. I met your mommy just now outside in the lounge, and I can see she absolutely loves you and supports you. Rahima, let's talk about your very special relationship. I know you have a special relationship with all your children, but there seems to be a very special bond between you and Iman. She hasn't let go of your hand the entire interview. What's going on there?
Why didn't you leave my
I
hand?
like it.
She likes it. She likes
I
it.
like the whole.
Sometimes at school it's like this as well. It's just the comfort we give each other. When I'm having a bad day, this little lady, she can bring me right back.
She's been at your school for quite a while now. Tell us where she at in her journey at Little People's Learning Academy.
So academically, she's reached a plateau. There isn't much learning there. But at the same time, she wants to continue to be part of the students, hence she still wears her uniform. But when she comes in the morning, she decides if she's a student or she's a teacher. If she's a teacher for a day, she's going to sit in one of the classes and she literally just sits there and watches everybody. But then the teachers would shout and say, Iman, can you see if that one's doing their work? Can you, they sort of give her responsibility. Shaista helps her a lot. Appa Shaista helps her a lot. And so Iman is there because she's part of Little People. She is Little People, and we let her be what she needs to be because of Aparema, because of Iman.
Do you love Appa Rahima?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. She's a huge part of not only your life, but the school as well.
Absolutely.
She, I think, encourages and is a great motivator to everybody else.
Yes.
She does play a huge role.
Yes, she does. I use her as an example a lot to tell parents, what, this is Iman, this is where she was, this is where she is,
And her parents are supportive of that role that she plays.
Absolutely. Her mother says to me, if it's your child during school, do with her what you want to. Because I actually say, you don't have to say yes to everything.
I'm going to have a concert soon.
She's going to have a concert soon.
Okay. She also, you said something about her being in a brigade or something?
Yes, the Pretoria Muslim Youth Brigade. She is a member of the brigade.
Oh, wow.
I have uniform.
She has a brigade uniform as well.
So does she join them in her wheelchair?
Yes, her dad walks with her in her wheelchair.
Every day.
And what's the name of your stick that you have?
I can't remember. Mace.
Yeah, so she
You
has
have
the
a
stick
mace.
that's a mace, and she goes in full uniform. She goes for practice as well during the
Wed-
week.
Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, she goes for practice, and they get
Like
informed
the
where they're
English.
marching for functions and things, and Iman is there, right
Oh,
in the
wonderful.
middle of it.
It's, alhamdulillah, what is so beautiful here between these three different individuals, they are so different, and yet they all seem to have purpose, passion, and grounding in their lives. And this wouldn't have been possible without Little People's Learning Academy and their amazing parents and their support structures. And let this be a huge learning for us able-bodied individuals. Let us take a lesson from this. But having said all of that, let's talk about, as much as you love them, you wear your heart on your sleeve as far as your learners are concerned. There are challenges. What do they look like, and how do you circumvent them?
Main challenge, communication.
Communication.
Because you need to be able to communicate with each child accordingly. And that's the challenging part. I have a little boy there, Hamza, who is nonverbal. So if a child does this, a parent and a teacher automatically assumes that child is thirsty or hungry. No, when Hamza does this, it's, I didn't hear you, or can you say it again? And it took us a while to develop this communication between us. Also, where a child is trying to say something or express something and they can't really do it. So your biggest challenge is communication, but you find ways to deal with it. And you have to do it very slow. There's no quick fix when it comes to special needs children. You have to literally try everything till both you and that child are satisfied. And then the other thing is obviously adjusting your curriculum. You run the risk of adjusting it so much that you do not reach an outcome, or you don't adjust it enough and the child doesn't feel and they become frustrated. Those are the two main challenges that we have, but as a team, we sort of work on it together. Sometimes if I've tried something so much it hasn't worked, I would walk away and somebody else would step in, and together we would find a solution. But with us, our school is a challenge, but we don't see it that way. Because if everything is a challenge, we will just be stuck in a challenge. What we do is break it down, make it smaller, baby steps. And I always tell them, it's not even one day at a time, it's one moment at a time. You literally go from moment to moment with these kids, with their challenges, with everything that's happening in the school, till you get to where you want to be.
So Iman's been with you for a very long time. She's reached her academic level of maturity. As you've indicated, there's nothing much more you can teach her. She's now come on board as a teacher and a learner, alhamdulillah for that. Is it going to be the same with other learners with their specific learning challenges in your school? Do you see them graduating out of your school system and making a life for themselves in perhaps the real world?
So that's the plan now with the computer center coming up. If we can get them to be able to basically work a computer, then more doors open. A lot more doors open, and that's what we want to work with, right? Not everybody can stay, and not every parent can leave their child there. Like now, you know. And so you look at each child individually, but also we see a strong suit. What we also try to do is work on where if a child gets to grade 9 and they complete grade 9, they can get an exit level certificate, but then go into tertiary institutes. Plumbing, carpentry, upholstery, there's options available, especially if a child can use their hands and understand instructions. So that's what we work on for now.
And may you grow from strength to strength. So those are part of your challenges, and are you planning on expanding the school for both your able or your regular learners and your learners with special needs?
So right now it's a primary school, and I would like to maintain that as a primary school.
Why?
It's easier to deal with the younger children, and high school kids are traumatic. I would rather take an entire school of special needs kids than do high school. I was exposed to high school before, and the challenges are difficult, but even more so now that parents don't communicate as open with you, or they're constantly just seeing one side of the story, it becomes difficult. But in the primary school, the one thing I firmly believe is if you build a foundation, if you give a child a good foundation, you automatically open doors for them. So I would like to keep that at primary level. When it comes to special needs kids, I literally just go with the flow.
I think there is a perception out there. I've picked it up as my kids were growing up as well. I probably was guilty at the time of, my expectations of the school and the teachers, that it's their job to, to teach that child in such a way that we get the best outcome of the child. But we, as parents, neglect that we have as important, as big, if not bigger role to play in the upbringing of the child. And we are running out of time, so very quickly, do you find a lot of that where parents' expectations of you in the school are very high, or is it different because you are a primary school?
So it fluctuates, right? There are certain parents who have very high expectations. I want my child to be an A student, and there are other parents who's like, you know what, as long as my child gets through school, I'm fine with it. And others are, there's no way my child's going to do that. And then they get that progress, and then they're quite happy with it. So it goes up and down, it fluctuates, and you deal with each parent and each child accordingly.
Okay, we've come to wrap up time. Let's just quickly go around the room. Rayan, what do you want to say? We're going to say our goodbyes now on air. What do you want to tell our viewers today?
You can say thank you for having us.
Thank you for watching and hearing the conversation with me.
With us here at Hilaal TV. Okay, let's move on. We are running out of time. Zainab, very quickly, what do you want to say?
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. Finally, Iman.
Jazakallah for listening to me.
Oh, thank you so very much for being here. Final thoughts from you, Rahima.
In the real world, these are real kids. And I would advise parents, if you see them in the shopping center, take your kid to them and introduce them. Let them be part of the real world. Let them be part of life. A Little People's Learning Academy, this is my life.
You are an amazing human being. May you grow from strength to strength. Continue doing what you're doing with these human beings that are here, I think, to teach us a lesson in empathy, humility, and love. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watch over all of you, and thank you once again. That's where we leave it. With a heavy heart, I'm a bit emotional, but Allah knows best, and I just think that these people are awesome. Till you and I to get together again next time. As always, it is Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.